Hello, my name is Sonia, and through MSpell tutoring, I plan to take you on an exciting journey of English literature. There are numerous poems, prose compositions, and of course, grammar for us to explore. This demo is uploaded for your reference and for you to take a look ahead how classes or sessions are going to be with me. I'll wait for you till you join in. Till then, follow the demo ahead. Thank you. Nothing gold can stay. This is a poem by Robert Frost. To begin with, let us run through the poem. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Now, before I begin to explain what this poem is about, it is important to know a couple of points which are in context of this poem. This poem was first published in 1923. You will notice that this composition has rhyming couplets, which means gold rhymes with hold, flower rhymes with hour, leaf rhymes with grief, and day rhymes with stay. This is a poem that has only 8 lines, but the main central message that the poem tries to convey is that beauty is only temporary. As we go forward, I'll explain the literal meanings of the sentences and the words, and we'll also see how figure of speech is used in this poem. Figure of speech here mainly means things like alliteration, which refers to words like her, hardest, hue, and hold. In this sentence, all these words start with H, and that is alliteration. The other figures of speech are a metaphor and a personification. Apart from this, there is also a biblical reference in the poem. A biblical reference means any reference that is made to the Bible. And that in this poem is the sentence where he talks about Eden. This poem, as such, has a literal meaning and a figurative meaning. Let's explore in the next slide. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. The colors green and gold are used as a metaphor. Just to remind you, a metaphor is a hidden comparison. For example, when I say the camel is a ship of the desert, so I refer to a ship and I mean that a camel is like a ship when he is on a desert. Similarly, the color green signifies spring and the color gold signifies that distinct moment when things are just starting. Something is new. It is progressing to maturity. These moments are very quick and short, but these are elusive in beauty. You will notice when we talk about spring, it is the most beautiful season in 12 months. We talk about a time in the year when everything is new, everything is forming. Everything is at level 1. It feels like life has come to a new formation. You will find flower buds which are tiny and new. They have just come into this earth. Their entire life to progression and maturity lies ahead. There are a couple of references in this poem with regards to this line. The first is the willow tree, which initially is golden. It also refers to the sun rising at the dawn. At that time, everything looks golden. The first rays of the sun makes the universe look like a golden canvas. Everything on the face of this earth is faced with the rays of the sun. It shines. There is a golden look to everything. But is that how things are for the rest of the day? Not really. A day turns brighter which means dawn progresses to day. A flower bud progresses to a full flower. A tiny leaf progresses to a matured grown leaf. A baby matures to a teenager and an adult. The next line, her hardest hue to hold, thereby gives you a mild cue that this is though the most beautiful moment, it is yet the shortest. Her is the note of nature personified, which means that the poet refers to nature as a female, as a woman, as a female figure. Hue, by the word hue, we mean color or shade. Hue is her shade that is most difficult to hold back, to keep, or to live. And it is exactly here that the poet uses alliteration, which means repetition of the same letter in the same sentence. Thereby, the poet tells you that the most beautiful part or the moment of nature, which is spring or which is a baby at birth, it remains for a very short while. It is the hardest and the most difficult part, yet it is the most beautiful. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Her first leaves signifies nature's first bearing, first bud that comes out, the first tint of beauty and form that appears. Flower actually refers to the first tender leaves that grow on a tree. Now, the language here twists the literal reference of flower, thereby creating a visual imagery. It's interesting to note when the poet says her early leaves a flower. What he means here is basically what comes out in a plant in the beginning. Please don't get confused when he says her early leaves a flower. It is just a figure of expression. It is just the beauty of the poet's expressive language. What he tries to tell you is the first tender leaves, and he signifies a flower, he personifies a flower to represent that innocence and that beauty. Now, the next line gives you a mild cue, once more reminding that this imagery is very short-lived. It lives for a few moments, and in that the poet leaves some food for thought. Remember, bloom lasts for a few days. Buds remain for a very short while till it matures. Dawn is for a very short hour. So, when the poet says her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour, it's a mild reference to an offspring, is a baby or remains a baby for a very short while before it transforms to a matured, grown adult into life. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. Note that there is a repetition of the word leaf. Now this signifies the progression, the maturity, the passage of time that changes beauty and form of everything in the universe. Note the use of leaf to mean transit of beauty. He tries to tell you that a tender leaf gradually grows into a full leaf. That tiny leaf, that formation, that beauty, that innocence, that subsides. That is not for permanent. That is not forever. Now there are many other references that you will find when explaining this poem. One of them is that of bud to flower, from young tender leaves to matured ones, and from dawn to day and further. Now the next line is a biblical reference. Now when we talk about Eden, we refer to the Eden garden. This signifies the matter of fact when Adam and Eve faced the truth and reality after having the apple. They realized that they were on earth and they were two different beings, and their life eventually had to be different. And so it is again a reminder to you that something as blissful and heavenly as the Eden also had its own moment of glory, which passed away with time. Eden was not forever. The two people living in the Eden also had a certain moment of glory when that also had to pass away with time. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. So as the lines begin from dawn, it takes us down to day. This wraps the poet's message of beauty and innocence fading away, progression leading to transit. Nothing that is gold and beautiful today will live forever. References are to that of nature's own way of bringing everything good to an end. For every birth, there is maturity. And that, my friend, brings us to the end of the poem. So this poem is a mirror to remind us that nothing beautiful is permanent. Whatever is formed today is subject to progress, transit, and maturity tomorrow. And so, let me ask you a question for you to think over as we come to the end. Think about it. You were a child. How long were you a child? You were a teenager. How long were you a teenager? And now you are progressing as an adult. You will be an adult for all your life, for all the time to come, for as long as you're going to be. So till the end of time, relish what is nice, relive what is young, but remember, whatever you feel is beautiful today will wither away tomorrow.